This assignment is a personal mandala. Mandala in Sanskrit means circle. This is a Hindu mandala. It portrays a metaphysical view of the cosmos with gates and pathways. This is a Tibetan mandala. The Tibetan mandala is also symbolic of a worldview. This diagram shows the elements signified in the mandala, such as the Great Protective Circle, the gate with 11 levels, the precious umbrella, and 64 lotus petals. Its construction is a process that aids mindfulness and also becomes a depiction of the mind as a macrocosm of the universe. The process involves placement of colored sand in specific areas to create the image. When completed, the mandala sand is swept away, representing the impermanence of all things. Mandala, as a general term, is any geometric depiction that can represent the universe. We are going to create a mandala that is a personal one. It will depict our place in the universe with the now in the center and future towards the edges. You can create a main circle with anything in your home that you can use to trace. In this example, I'm using a dinner plate. I'm going to demonstrate one way you can do this assignment. You can do it differently, making your own process. I wanted a structure that I could build from, so I made 8 subdivisions with lines going through the center. You can make a different number of divisions if you want. On a separate piece of paper, I started making elements that I could repeat. Thinking of the now, I used a home symbol, a Miami M, and a printmaking roller. If you have a thicker kind of paper around or index cards, the stiffness can help when making a stencil. You should include anything that might be important to you now, things you cherish, things in your daily life. You may also want to create shapes that might imply motion or movement. I then cut out the elements that I will use as templates. If you have small details, an X-Acto knife can be useful. We have 2 Boston Terriers, so I'm cutting out a silhouette of one here. Working off of the axis lines, I start repeating elements and building a design. For me, it isn't necessary that they retain their symbolic nature. I will allow them to be visual elements that interact. By combining the dog silhouette, the shapes take on a new focus. They are less about what they are in themselves, but more about how they relate to everything around them. As I work, I am putting things in similar relation to the main structure, the further out I go. I ran out of elements and hadn't really been considering the future when I created the original templates. I decided on a caduceus to represent the medical needs I am sure we will have, and a simplified skull to represent death. My wife asked if this is all I see in our future. I'm a pessimist, so I went with it. When the main structure was laid out, I went back through and cleaned up this design by eliminating the structure lines. With colored pencils, I began to fill in color for different shapes. You can use whatever media you want, markers, pens, crayons, etc. I decided on a gray background, so that the elements would read as more in front, known as creating a figure-ground relationship. With most of the work done, I decided to add small dots to make the mandala a bit more uniform throughout. This is the finished design. Your design can be anything you want, constructed with your own personal interests and goals. Through the act of making this mandala, I assumed a similar state of focus and mindfulness as the Buddhist monks creating their sand mandalas.